Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from True Off My Chest. Our first post is by Pop International. I dropped my mother-in-law's dog off as a stray at a shelter. I don't feel bad. My mother-in-law loves her vacations. She goes on maybe 6 a year, at least 2 weeks each. She left her older dog with us so frequently he became ours. I forgot to remind her to pick him up, and after 3 months, she left all his stuff on our doorstep and never said a thing about it. He's amazing. A few months ago, she bought herself a husky puppy. He is Satan reincarnated. When we watched him for the first time, he was insane. This time, he was even worse. He jumps, takes food off the counters, bites, chews everything, steals. He tripped my husband down the stairs, leading to a dislocated shoulder and concussion. He snarled at my 7-year-old when she was coloring, ripped my 2-year-old's diaper off while she was eating, and bit my 4-year-old in the face hard enough to bleed. In the first 4 days, he also constantly nips at our dogs and had a fight with our senior pit bull, so still got that fight in him, but still, he's old and fragile. Yesterday, while my husband was in hospital, the day after he bit my son, I drove him to a shelter a few hours out, told them we found him and tried to bring him in, but he's awfully behaved and we can't keep him. Peace has been restored in my home. My husband texted his mom and said he ran away. I thought I'd feel guiltier, but I don't. I'm just relieved. Our next post is by Soya Like Jazz. My sister ruined my birthday by physically assaulting me, and I hate her for it. My little sister, 26F, and I went to Hawaii for my 29th birthday. The trip, up until a few hours ago, was fantastic. Today is my actual birthday and we went out to a nice dinner. After dinner, we were walking around Waikiki and some guy came up to me and started talking with me. We exchanged Instagrams. When we saw him later that night, he walked up to me and asked what I was doing and if I wanted to get together. I said no because I was hanging out with my sister and we were going back to our hotel to go to bed. My sister was walking further ahead at this point. When I caught up to her, she started berating me about abandoning her to talk to guys, telling me that it's weird to exchange contact info with them, and that I have no self-respect. We get back to our hotel and it escalates. We start arguing and she starts yelling. I tell her that I think she is just feeling insecure. I also start filming this fight as it was escalating quickly, and I felt unsafe. She realizes I'm filming it and flips out. She threw her electric toothbrush at my face. I now have an enormous welt on my forehead and it hurts so badly. She completely ruined my birthday. The past 3 birthdays have been rough. I just wanted to make it through a birthday without crying, and sad to say that did not happen again this year. I am so angry. We fly back tomorrow and thankfully she changed her seat so we aren't sitting together on the flight. She apologized a lot for throwing the toothbrush, but I am still so angry. I will always be her sister, but tonight she lost me as a friend. Mental health issues aside, physical violence is not okay, and I hate her so much for ruining my birthday and putting me in physical pain. Our next post is by Plus Definition. Was advised to write here. Not sure, but I want to break up with my partner over the content of his will. So I finally got the courage to discuss this issue, but am very embarrassed because I know that talking about and discussing money is frowned upon, and I agree that I am not entitled to anything I didn't work for. I live by this, and I have since I was 16 been my provider, even though I come from a stable and well-off family with loving and supportive parents. But being independent has always been priceless to me. I started my company when I was 26, I'm 42 now, and it thrived until COVID when it almost went into bankruptcy, but now it makes good living but nothing as it did before. For me, beside having to let go great employees and the fear of losing my pride and joy, my company, the monetary side, never bothered me because I have made good savings and I always adjust well to situations living within my limits. Why this long intro? Just to paint a picture of why my partner's betrayal are more about trust and love for me than the monetary aspect. I have not succeeded to make people around me understand this, however, because when I told my family that I want to break up with him over his will, they called me the jerk. I am 42F and he is 53M. We have been together since 2009, living together since 2011. We are compatible in everything, and the love I have for him is never wavered. We both make good living and we have since 2015 bought our beautiful penthouse that we love very much. Around the same time we started to think about the unpleasant things like death, etc. And since we are each other's family, We wrote wills that we inherited each other because we thought that the one leaving earlier could be in peace, knowing the other will not have to worry about moving or lowering their standards. At the time, I made 2 to 3 times more than him. He was very supportive and loving during COVID, and he made me feel like I could just sit it out without worrying about contributing to our living just to keep the company afloat. For a year, I didn't take salary, and I used from my savings, but he made the bigger contribution to the household. After COVID, now, both with the changes in my economy and advancement in his career, he makes double what I make. We discussed our living situation and if we needed to downsize, but we did the math, and honestly, we don't even spend half of what we make, so all is good. During my Christmas deep cleaning of the apartment, I stumbled upon his new will, made 2022, where he only leaves me 10% and 10% to his mother, something we already agreed on. The rest goes to his sister and her family. I was shocked because we never talked about this and he never told me. He is still my sole heir, besides the 10% we were leaving to our mothers. His sister and her husband fell on hard times due to her getting fired from her high-paying job due to gross misconduct and her husband's job being lost due to COVID, and it turned out that they had accumulated lots of debt throughout the years. In no means, however, are they poor. They just don't have the means they had before. In fact, they still are way more well-off than any of my siblings. But never has it occurred to me or my family that they would inherit me the same way I didn't expect to inherit them. I feel nauseous. I want to leave him. I feel betrayed. The thought makes me so hurt, not only how unfair it is, but how he hid it from me. I love him, and I could just ignore this and change my will in secret to make my much more deserving siblings my heirs and leave him crumbs, but I don't know. My heart is broken. What do you think? Our next post is by Scared Search. My family wouldn't let me attend my siblings' weddings, so now I will cut contact with them. I think it would be easy to mention that I was never the family's favorite. I know there's a stereotype that the youngest sibling gets the most affection from the parents. Maybe it only applies to my family, but that's a complete lie. And I also know why my family treats me like that. They make no secret of it. I wasn't a wanted child for the simple reason that my parents only wanted a boy and a girl. So 2 children and no more. The fact that I was then born as a second son didn't fit into their family's predetermined picture. For this reason, I was always ignored at birthdays. I wasn't even allowed to be in family photos because they wanted to give the impression that their picture book family was the way they had imagined it. They never let go of this image, and just as an aside, compared to my siblings, my parents punished me much more severely for little things. My sister once stole money and was grounded for a week, while I was beaten up for leaving my room at night. I put up with it over the years because even though my parents didn't really pay attention to me, I always had a good relationship with my siblings. When my eldest brother got married a few years ago, I was still a minor, and even though I was offended, I wasn't allowed to attend the wedding on the grounds that it would be a child-free wedding. I was 15 at the time, and no doubt there would have been no reason not to let me attend. Even though I was hurt that I was the only one not allowed to attend, I accepted it. I'm now 19 and my sister wants to get married. She gave birth to a daughter last fall, and she and her partner wanted to get married. I was really looking forward to the wedding, and bought myself a nice suit. At some point, however, I received a message from my sister that I couldn't come to the wedding because they also wanted to have a child-free wedding, and they needed someone to look after their daughter, my niece. I knew that wasn't true as they had a babysitter. Said babysitter was a friend of hers who wanted to earn some extra money while she studied. When I pointed this out to her, she explained that the babysitter didn't have time because she had to study, which was also a lie, by the way, as I had previously sent the babysitter a friend request on Facebook, and she even wrote a post on the day of the wedding saying that she was enjoying her day off. I asked her if she had anyone else who could look after the child, as I really wanted to be there after missing my brother's wedding. Suddenly she got angry and told me I was being selfish, and if I was a good brother, I would say yes without argument, and if I didn't say yes, I wouldn't be allowed to come to the wedding under any circumstances. It felt like a punch in the stomach. I couldn't understand why she didn't want me at the wedding. In the end, I agreed but still contacted my parents again. They also told me not to be so selfish, as the day wasn't about me, and my sister was deciding the guest list anyway. Then I also realized for the first time that my attendance was never planned from the beginning because I was the only one who didn't get an invitation. Yesterday was the wedding, and I cried when I saw all the photos posted in the WhatsApp family group. Everyone had a great time, even when my sister dropped her daughter off at my place and I wanted to give her my wedding present. She didn't even give me a glance. She didn't even say thank you, neither for the present nor for babysitting. I want out of this family. I love them, but I can't stand being treated like this any longer. I'm about to be promoted at my home office job, and when that happens, I'm going to move far away and break off contact. They'll have the image of their perfect family back that I ruined, and I'll have my peace. A win-win situation for both sides. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.